So in this video, we'll recreate the ROI Calculator template. Pretty easy template. 4 inputs, 3 slider inputs, 3 formulas, and a call to action. And there's a little bit of styling, hover styling on these boxes. So let's go ahead. Go to ConvertSite, already created a new site. First thing we'll do, because this will be an embed, is we'll add a section, and within that section we'll add a box. Why we want to add a section is because we want to limit the width of the original calculator. So it's not the full width of the browser window or the website. Let's first cap that width, go to style, we already see the style set for section, go to content, max width. We'll cap it at 800 pixels. So now this is going to be 800 pixels always. Okay, now we have a box. This is basically a wrapper. I like to rename the boxes so I can easily find and filter them later. And because we have a 2-column layout, we'll add columns. Most of the settings are already perfect, but let's increase the gap a little bit. Then go to column 1 and let's add a box for the first question. So question, wrapper. And in this question, we'll add the first slider. So we can either find it in the bar or we just find it through the filter. Slider, we have a text. We'll just go ahead and copy paste this from the original one. How many visitors does your website have per month? This also has a description. So let's find the text and add a text there as well. And last thing we need to do is update the slider settings. So the slider settings have a min of 100, a default of 1000, and a max of 100,000, and a step size of 100. So now this functions similarly to the original one. The original one had a little bit of an outline on the box and a hover animation. So let's create this as well. It's actually pretty easy. We'll select the box where we go to the style tab. Add a little bit of padding to break the content from the border. Let's select the less dark border, 100, just taking one of the built-in color variables. Add a bit of a border radius as well. And now if we click outside of the box, we indeed see a box with a border. Let's add as well a hover state. So again, easy, select the box. In the style tab, instead of going from the default state, let's select the hover state. And here on wrapper, let's add a border setting. And instead of having the gray border, let's add a blue border. And we'll also add a nice box shadow. Let's switch this one to just a regular CSS value. Now it has a nice box shadow as well. If we go to preview, we can now see what we have just done. A neat little hover animation that is consistent with the previous or the original example. The main thing we need to do right now is add a little bit of what we want is to add a little bit of margin here on the question wrapper. So we'll do this at 24 pixel bottom margin, and on the slider wrapper, we need to get rid of the margin because we put the margin on the box. And now we can just go ahead, select the question wrapper and duplicate it. Update the text, property, how many visitors are interested in buying the product. So this is a percentage. So here we go, and we will add a min of 1%, a default of 30, a max of 90, and a step of 1. And add a text after, which is going to be a percentage. The percentage is also shown in the value. So 1%. So this looks good. Again, let's duplicate this one. All the settings are duplicated as well. What is your lead to customer rate? The customer rate percentage. And this is also going to be a percentage, which has a max percentage of 50. All right. Let's go ahead and copy this box, duplicate it, and delete the contents of the box, because in this question wrapper we want just a regular number input where we say what is the average sales price. Duplicate. This is currency, dollar. The has a default value to 50. So now we basically created the question structure. One thing we still need to do is I want to rename the question references. So for instance, now QA, let's rename this to visitors. That will make it easier to make the calculations. This is conversion. Let's rename this lead to customer, and this is sales price. Let's just call it price. All right. Now we have the inputs ready. Let's go ahead and go to the output. I always like to add a box because that basically allows me to group components. The first thing we'll do is we'll add a formula. So this is going to be the first formula, and the first one is additional leads. Additional leads, and the formula for additional leads is visitors times conversion percentage. We need to increase. So what we'll do is we'll create a variable here in the logic tab, and we'll call that increase, because the product that we are advertising leads to a 10% increase. So let's do 10%. And now we can use that increase here in the formula as well, times increase. And using variables basically allows you to reuse, in this case, constant numbers, but it also allows you to reuse functions, formulas that you use in multiple parts of your application. So now it's 30. We have 30 additional leads. Let's do a little bit of styling. So here in the component, we have style sets available for paragraphs. Let's, instead of the label large, let's do label small. And here for formula, create a new style set. So the formula, what we want to do is we want to increase the font size. 48. Well, 48 looks nice. We'll increase the font weight. We'll do extra bold. And let's also add a color. And we'll select one of our preset variables, 30. So now this actually looks pretty similar to the original one. We can go ahead and copy this formula wrapper, duplicate it. So instead of additional leads, we have additional sales. And for additional sales, we can use this reference, FA. It's a reference of the previous formula. FA times, and let's look up the reference of this question, lead to customer percentage. 30 leads, 9 customers with a 30%. Lead to customer rate, if we put it at 10%, it's 3. Let's go to the final calculation. Again, selecting the formula wrapper, duplicating this one, and this is FB. So let's do FB times price. FB times price. Text before dollars. This is questions, results. As a final one, let's add a CTA, a button, the calculator, which says get started for free. Get started for free. And we'll add an action. We'll navigate to an external page, and let's navigate to ConvertSite.com. Site.com. Opens in a new tab, no execution logic. All right, looks good. Let's see the preview. Here we have our questions. Results, they update with the questions accordingly. Click this. We'll go to our ConvertSite.com page. All right, that's it.